The Community of the Lady of All Nations, also known as the Community of the Lady of All Peoples of the Army of Mary, is a Marian sect founded by Marie-Paule Giguère. She founded the group in Quebec in 1971. History: Marie-Paule Giguère was born in Saint-Germain-du-Lac-Etchemin, Quebec, Canada on 14 September 1921. In 1944, she married Georges.She. They divorced in 1957. The 5 children were placed out of home. Marie-Paule claimed to have heard celestial voices since the age of 12, after visiting a small Marian shrine on the edge of Lake Etchemin in 1971. Marie-Paule is said to have received a revelation directing her to creating an Army of Mary as an alternative to the existing Legion of Mary, founded as a prayer group in 1971, and recognized in 1975 by the Archbishop of Quebec as a pious association. 4 years later, the Army of Mary has been a headache for Canadian Catholic bishops ever since. A Quebec priest, Philippe Roy, joined the movement and became its director, and over the next 10 years the association began to expand. In 1971, Giguère learned from Raoul Auclair of alleged apparitions in Amsterdam and the purported messages of the Lady of All Nations. Giguère met visionary Ida Peerdeman in Amsterdam in 1973. In 1977, due to another revelation to Marie-Paule, the Militia of Jesus Christ was introduced in Canada and connected to the Army of Mary. The Militia was a new chivalric order created in France in 1973 for stimulating Marian devotion and doing social work. A number of members of the Army of Mary joined the Militia of Jesus Christ. In 1978, Giguère introduced herself as the reincarnation of Mary. Giguère published her spiritual writings in 1979. In 1981, Army of Mary movement changed its name to the Family and the Community of the Sons and Daughters of Mary, and in 1983 began construction at Lac Etchemin of a World Centre for the Army of Mary and the Militia. After a series of newspaper articles regarding the beliefs expressed in her writings, the new Archbishop of Quebec, Cardinal Louis Albert Vachon, withdrew the approval of his predecessor, and on 4 May 1987 declared the movement schismatic and disqualified it as a Catholic association because of its false teachings. He asked the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith to review Giguère's writings. Then Cardinal Ratzinger concluded that the movement was in major and very severe error. The army was forbidden to organize any celebration or to propagate the devotion for the Lady of All Peoples. Beliefs. The movement believes that its 94-year-old founder, Marie-Paule Giguère, is the reincarnation of the Virgin Mary, in open contrast not only with the Catholic belief that reincarnation does not exist, but more specifically that Mary was assumed soul and body into heaven by God, and therefore Mary's soul is not separate from her body, so that if she were to appear, it would have to be as herself, not as a reincarnation. Father Eric Roy, Superior General of the Sons of Mary, an affiliate of the Army of Mary, said Giguère has not claimed to be the reincarnation of the Virgin Mary, and that the 94-year-old Quebec woman receives graces from the Virgin Mary and God. The Virgin Mary took possession of her soul. I would rather say it that way, said Roy, position of the Roman Catholic Church. On February 27, 1987, the Congregation of the Doctrine of the Faith declared the writings of the movement to be in major and severe error. Canada. In June 2001, the Catholic bishops of Canada issued a negative doctrinal judgment stating that the group was not a Catholic association. The bishops cited spurious various new doctrines that are without foundation in scripture or tradition. On the 26th of March 2007, the Archbishop of Quebec, Cardinal Marie-Paule, declared that the Army of Mary has clearly and publicly become a schismatic community and, as such, a non-Catholic association. Its particular teachings are false and its activities are not able to be frequented nor supported by Catholics. On July 11, 2007, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith issued a declaration of excommunication against the group for heretical teachings and beliefs after a 6-year investigation. The declaration was announced by the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops on September 12, 2007. Archbishop of Ottawa, Terence Prendergast S.J., appointed in 2003 by Pope John Paul II to be a mediator, said, "It's a kind of cult. I think they are very much under the sway of the foundress." United States. On September 28, 2007, Monsignor J. Gaston Hebert, Diocese of Little Rock, Arkansas administrator, stated that 6 nuns in the Diocese of Little Rock were excommunicated for heresy. They refused to recant the doctrines of the Community of the Lady of All Nations. The 6 nuns are members of the Good Shepherd Monastery of Our Lady of Charity and Refuge in Hot Springs. Sister Mary Teresa Dion, 82, one of 6, said they will still live at the convent property, which they own. A spokesman for the Army of Mary called the excommunication of the nuns and the other members of the sect an injustice.